Hi skaters, it's Stace here from Next Edge Tutorials. Today we're going to be looking at the 6 jumps we have in figure skating. So if you didn't know already, we have 6 jumps in figure skating. We have 3 edge jumps and 3 toe jumps. Now you might be thinking, wait, I've seen other small jumps. Yes, that is true, but we are going to focus on the main 6 jumps. And these jumps have been done all with quads, which is so impressive. Now, with the 3 edge jumps that we have are Sal, a loop, and an Axel. And then our toe jumps are the toe loop, the flip, and the Lutz. You will see me demonstrate all these jumps anti-clockwise. If you jump clockwise, you're just gonna have to reverse everything because I'm not so good at jumping in the other direction. So let's jump in, let's get started, and let's learn these jumps. That way, on your next practice session, or when you're watching skating, you can spot them yourself. So before we jump in and get started with this very first jump, I want you to click on the link below in the description for your free PDF guide of the 5 exercises that every figure skater should know or use. It's just a nice review of like skipping off the ice, backspins on the ice, crossovers and 3 turns, and then it gives a nice little bonus of a cool down. So give it a look over and try to use it. So the first edge jump that we're gonna be looking at is the Salchow jump. And this one is done off of a left back inside edge because I jump anti-clockwise. So I'm backwards and it pulls around off of an inside edge and then I jump the other foot. So we start off on a left back inside edge, I make the jump, and I land on a right back outside edge. Now this jump can be done from many different entries. It can be done from a left forward outside 3 turn. It can be done from a mohawk or C-step and take off. It can be done from a half loop, but today I'm going to show you from a left outside 3 turn. Now we're gonna take a look at the Salchow jump. So I'm gonna do it from a 3 turn. So I'm gonna push back. Here's my 3 turn, jump, and hold. As you can see, after that 3 turn, I am holding and I'm using that edge to get me into the air. And that's why it is considered an edge jump, because this free leg isn't tapping in at all. I'm only using that edge to create that Salchow jump. Now, one thing that I like to think about is after the 3 turn, I'm not gonna immediately jump. I'm gonna feel myself over my left leg before I do the jump. I don't wanna immediately go 3 turn and jump. Because it is an edge jump, we want to use that edge into that jump. The next edge jump that we're gonna look at is the loop jump. And this one is done backwards, and then we're going to be, because I jump anti-clockwise, I'm going to be taking off of a right back outside edge. Now, my left foot is going to remain in front of my body here holding. And then I'm going to use that right leg to press around and get me up into the air. And what's really special about this jump is the takeoff is going to be the same leg as the landing leg. So there's no transfer of the feet in the air. We take off on the right and we land on the right. Now, just like the Salchow, there are many different entries that you can use for loop jump. I'm gonna set it up with some back crossovers. So, here are my back crossovers. I'm gonna set up, loop jump. As you can see, it was backwards. I took off on my right leg and I landed on my right leg. Now, one thing that I like to make sure that when I'm doing a traditional entry is that my left leg that's in front is on an outside edge before I jump. Now, this is something that I personally like to do. I feel like it's really, really super helpful. And sometimes when it's on the inside edge, I feel like it blocks me a bit. So just quick tip, try putting it on the outside edge and then taking off for that loop jump. So the last edge jump would be the Axel jump. Now, this jump is probably recognized more than any other jump. And I know after all these years of skating, it's the only jump that my parents can recognize because it takes off forwards and then it lands backwards. So this jump is very, very unique in figure skating and possibly one of the hardest to get because it is that forward takeoff. For some reason, it just makes it just that little bit scary. But what you have to remember is that it's not that scary. It's just like every other jump and everyone can do it. Now we're gonna take a look at this Axel jump. So a lot of the times it starts off backwards on a back outside edge. And then we're gonna step forwards on a left forward outside edge. I press it, I jump into the air, and then I land the jump. Now, it's always either 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, or 4.5 because we do have to end backwards. So that's something to think about. It's not just one rotation because could you imagine exiting forwards on an outside edge? So we're gonna take a look at this Axel jump now. And again, you can do many entries into it, but the main one is that stepping forwards on a left outside edge and jumping into the air. Okay, now let's take a look at this Axel jump. I'm going to start with a back crossover. I'm going to push back on a back outside edge, step forward, Axel jump. Now, let's break it down. I am on a right back outside edge. I step forward on a left forward outside edge, and then I pick it up through that edge into the air. It is a forward takeoff. This is why this jump is considered very, very difficult, is because it's that forward takeoff, and then we have to rotate 1.5 and exit backwards. Now, one thing that I like to do as a skater, I always like to have my balance on that back outside edge. In order to have a good Axel, I have to completely feel balanced here before I step forward and jump. If I'm not balanced, my Axel is off. So one thing that could help your jump is make sure that you are balanced here before even stepping forward. Now, moving on to the toe jumps, we are gonna look at our toe loop as our first toe jump. So I'm gonna hold on to the barrier just so that you can see the final part of the toe loop. So my left toe is in the ice here. My right leg is on a right back outside edge, and then I jump into the air and I land on my right foot. So we have a bit of transferring our weight. So I tap in with that left, my right is on an outside edge, I jump into the air, transfer, and then landing on the right leg. Now, toe loops can be done from many different entries, but today you're gonna see me do a standard forward inside 3 turn, tap, and then pick the toe loop up. So let's take a look at this toe loop. So I'm gonna do an inside 3 turn, forward inside 3 turn, tap, jump, and hold. Again, this can be done from many different entries. One thing that I like to focus on when doing a toe loop is keeping rhythm from that 3 turn, tap, and then picking the jump up. I don't want to go 3 turn, pause, and then jump, because also it is way too much thinking time and that's not good for me at all. So I want to keep my rhythm from that 3 turn, tap, and then jump through. Now, the next toe jump is going to be the flip jump. And this one is very similar to the next jump that we have, but the difference is the edge. So the flip jump, the final part, the right toe is going to be into the ice. My left leg is going to have an inside edge as we skate through and lift. So we tap in with our right foot, we skate through, we do the jump, and then I land on my right and hold. So this one is like backing up into the jump, but on a left inside edge. Now, again, like all the other jumps I've mentioned, this one can be done from many different entries. But today I'm going to use the Mohawk or C-step to get into the flip. I just love this entry because I feel like it gives me personally great rhythm, and I feel like it really gets me into the air. Okay, let's take a look at this flip jump. So I'm gonna start backwards. I'm gonna turn forwards. I'm gonna do mohawk up and hold. Now, again, this can be done from many different entries, but the main focus is focusing on that left inside edge. So I do mohawks or C-step. I tap in with my right toe. I'm on a left inside edge. I pick it up into the air, and then I land on my right leg. Now, this one, the main focus is after I do the C-step, I have balance. I'm not going C-step and tap as fast as possible, because then I have no rhythm, I can't get up into the air, and I don't feel that hang time that I want for this flip jump. Take your time. After you finish, feel that left inside edge and then tap. Make sure your rhythm isn't too quick. And our final jump that is still a toe pick jump is the Lutz jump. So like I said with the flip, this one is very, very similar, but the difference is the outside edge. So I tap in with still that right toe. I have an outside edge going into that jump and lifting into the air. And this one is also done backwards. So I tap in with that right. I have left outside edge pressure. I pick it up. I land on my right. So this is the Lutz jump. Now, again, many different entries, many. I'm going to do this one from just backwards skating. You'll see me change edge. I'd like to do a little inside pull before I come back on that outside edge. This is just a personal preference, but this is what I will be demonstrating. Okay, now let's take a look at this Lutz jump. So I'm gonna back into it. I'm gonna set up. I'm gonna pull. Lutz jump. I use that inside edge to help me pull into that back outside edge, so I'm really getting that pressure. This is something that I personally love doing. I feel like it allows me to get that inside to go back on that outside edge and get good quality pressure, so that I'm pulling on an outside versus pulling on an inside or a flat to where it becomes a flutz. So there you have it. Those are our 6 jumps. Now, let's quickly go over our edge jumps. We have the Salchow jump, we have the loop jump, and we have the Axel jump. And for our toe pick jumps, we have the toe loop, we have the flip, and we have the Lutz jump. So the next time you are on a figure session or just watching figure skating, now you have the confidence to identify each jump. Thanks for watching Next Edge Tutorials, and looking forward to seeing you soon.